Okay, thinking about getting you here today for a talk is we're going to try and look at motivating you in regards to the Leaving Cert in mind. Now that we're aware of the announcement from Norma Foley on what's going to happen with this year's Leaving Cert, speaking to the staff, observing myself, standing back and looking at students, we're kind of getting a sense maybe focus isn't where it's meant to be at. Okay? The role of Leinster Senior College and the role of the staff within Leinster Senior College is to provide the best place possible for you to get the best Leaving Cert according to your ability. And I've called in Brendan and Pat today to talk to you about some study techniques and some motivation towards that end goal. The realization needs to come that you're in the driving seat, guys. That you need to make this a priority.
Can you join the dots together from now to the next 4 years? And baby steps. And baby steps can be most effective. But the baby steps have to start probably in the next hour. Brenda and I were talking about it. When I was your age, lads, and that's not, I know it's not trying to remember that. But what motivated me was fear. The fear of failure. I always had a huge fear. I was going to let everybody down. Right? Including myself. But I worked my arse off. But I had to start somewhere. Right? And I remember, and I was just having Jerry inside, I sat in the front seat. And I wouldn't let anyone sit beside me when I was repeating my Leaving Cert. I just took it up and said, I'm going to look after me. I'm going to do what I want to do. Because I know what going to do for me. Remember, all my friends were in college. So I was the one left behind. And they were all sharing a house. So I took it upon myself, okay, I'm going to take control there. And all I'm going to do is my best. And I vowed at the time, no one was going to get in my way. So I said to people that I was palling around at the time, I gave up rugby football. I gave up chasing women. I was a bit of a player then.
Practical in my advice to you. My advice to you is, a number of you out here find that exams, you're very fearful of them. You go into an exam and you're almost certain you're going to make a mess of it. And that's the same when you go and do your Leaving Cert. But I think what you need to do is embrace all the exams you do here as if every one of them is a mini Leaving Cert. And that you're going to use it and you're going to try and get your best performance in each of the exams. And the only way you'll enjoy it is when you realize, I know this, I studied it, I learned it, I can now answer questions on it. A lot of cases, people spend hours and hours reading. They think they're studying, they're absolutely not studying. They highlight pages in their books. One of my biggest bogeys, I hate seeing people highlight their books. You might as well just get red paint and just paint the whole book. Because it's not going into your head. And the only way you know it's gone into your head is when you can sit down with a blank sheet of paper in front of you, read a question, and rattle off the answer. And if you haven't reached that stage, you're not ready for the exams. It's got to be in here, in your head. And you've got to practice. And you practice by doing every past question you can find and write out the answers. Now, you come into class, and I can tell from the way you come into class, the way you present yourself in the class, You get the people that are down the back and they're sitting back and relaxing. We're 10 minutes into class and, oh, maybe I should take out my copy, maybe I should write something down, pretend I'm here. And I see others and they have all their notes ready. They've gone through it, they've read ahead. They're not waiting for the teacher to come along. They're actually prepared so that when they do cover it in class, they already have a background to it. It's not the first time they're hearing it. It's kind of like there's a ban on you that you can't read the next chapter until the teacher tells you to go to the next page and read the next chapter. It's like, you're being held back. I can only go with the same pace as the. That's not the case. You should be working ahead. You should be making your own notes. But you don't write enough, I find. You don't write things down enough. You don't practice questions enough. You probably, if you were asked right now, what's question 3 on your paper? I don't know. The layout of the paper, you should know it inside out. It's kind of like know your enemy. Know what's going to be what you're up against. If you know what you're up against, then you can practice. You look at the lads playing the rugby, the lads, the kickers, they practice and practice and practice. So it just becomes natural to them. But for some of you, the exam is not natural. And therefore, when you go into the exam, you don't do your best. The only way you can do the best is to keep doing the questions over and over and over again. And when you're studying, you shouldn't take on too much study. You shouldn't say, I'm going to do this whole chapter now this evening, or I'm going to spend an hour doing this chapter. Break it up into smaller amounts. Do that, learn it, make whatever notes you need. And then when that's done, maybe a week later, you go back and you answer a question. And then you look at your notes and is everything in your notes there that would allow you to answer the question? And if it isn't, you need to amend your notes. Your notes are constantly changing, and they're changing according as you learn.
Like the thinking behind this talk as well was that after Friday you have your midterm break, and then you're off for a week. We'll have study open here Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to maintain that bit of balance. There's no point going away saying, sure, it's all the talk about legislative college is study. We're not saying that. We're trying to get across to you to study a bit more effectively. So take your little break next week. The study is open and there'll be still some students actually studying at home. That's fine as well, but make sure you get your balance. Then after that, when you come back from the midterm break, you have another week of school, and then it's March exams on the 7th. Okay? So the reason I'm having this now rather than Friday is to see what you can get out of this week. Let's see what you can get out of the midterm break, and that you're in a good place then when it comes around to the exams. But I think self-awareness, guys, you hear me say that time and time again, and I think Pat and Brendan will agree on this, that having that self-awareness and maturity to know what you're struggling at, or to know what your weakness at, is absolute key. So that you're disciplined enough to give that particular subject a little bit more time. And you know what discipline means? Doing what you need to do, not what you want to do. I want to make that clear. Because every day you'll hear, what I want to do is I want to go into the tiles and talk to my friend for the next half hour. That's what I want to do. What I want to do in the midterm break is do nothing. What do you need to do? And now the time has come for us not to be telling you it, and your parents not to be telling you it, but for you to step up and take responsibility. That's the next level. Every year after leaving Cert, these lads will tell you the exact same. I'd say to myself, okay, Karl, what did I learn this year? Did I learn anything different this year? You've got to work harder. That's it. Same every year. You've got to work harder.